Hey, you're back with Steve and Damon from the Penny Stupid Project. This time we're going to talk about Deliver That because it is a delivery app, an item delivery app that is...
No, Amazon
wait
Flex.
for it. That's...
So we're going to roll with that or we're going to start over?
No, we're just going to keep going. I'm not going to waste these electrons
Well,
here.
you did mention F
All right,
word in the first 30 seconds. That might ding us. Usually you had to wait 30 seconds before you drop the truth bomb.
I might have to bleep that one.
It's in the intro.
There's a video coming up on Deliver That. I promise you we will deliver that soon.
Yeah, I did 2 more deliveries.
But we're talking about
week.
Amazon Flex. So 2 different things with Amazon. We've been talking a lot about Amazon FBA, buying products, selling them on Amazon. In fact, in the last, 5 minutes since we ended our other podcast, we're just picking up right there. Sold another $140 of stuff on Amazon. I'm just watching the ticker here on my screen.
Yes,
that Steve, I love to do.
Steve's doing so well with this FBA that we are thinking of somehow, can we figure out how to do a ticker or something that just shows his sales are going up like hourly.
Sales for the day.
Yeah, I mean, you're in month 4 and you're just crushing it. We just finished a video on it. In fact, Steve was going to hold on, let me go change my shirt. And I said, why? Anybody going to care? We're not trying to pretend it's a different day. We're just a different subject.
Yeah, I didn't even shave.
No, so he goes, okay, fine, let's just do it. And then he looks, he goes, I made $140 in the last 5 minutes. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up this morning at 0 sales for today, and right now I'm at 944.21.
What kind of profit is that on 944 in sales? Because a lot of these, I love how all these ads always talk about sales
50%
price.
of that is profit.
So because you average about 50%?
My return on investment is 100%. My target is 100% or more. Sometimes it's a lot more, and sometimes, like these are 72, 80, 70. So it all averages out about 100%.
100 or 50? Oh, okay. 50% of the sales is 100% profit. Gotcha. See,
correct.
I was told there would be no math.
A train left Chicago.
Yeah.
No. I wonder if they still do those in school.
I don't know.
Those old word problems.
I don't know. With Common Core, I don't know. I'm sure. With Common Core, I'm sure it takes the train longer to get there.
More safety warnings before it goes. So this video, as I didn't say in the beginning, is an intro to Amazon Flex. Amazon FBA, selling stuff online. Amazon Flex, delivering stuff that gets sold. It's a whole ecosystem here of Amazon. But Damon, you've been doing Amazon Flex. I know you're going to do a video introducing people to exactly how it works. Give us the 30,000 foot view on what you think about Flex.
Yeah, I've got a video coming up where I'm doing a lot more detail as far as how to actually do it step by step and go into the warehouse and scanning the different packages and loading them into your car. I've done, I don't know, Steve, what do you think? Eight deliveries with Amazon, maybe, somewhere between
Probably.
8 and 10. I've been getting pretty good at fitting them in between different times of the day when I'm doing Uber or Lyft. Usually I like to do the very early morning runs because that works for me. There's no traffic on the street. When I say very early morning, I'm talking picking up the packages at 3:30 a.m. and I'm done by 7:30, 8 o'clock. So if you have a regular job, that's actually something you could do if you wanted to do that. But you
could do that.
They've got shifts all day. Like you could grab blocks of time, morning, afternoon, even late evening up to 9, 10 o'clock. You can't start at 9 or 10 o'clock. That's when those finish. Usually the evening runs start at 5, 6, maybe sometimes 7 if it's a smaller route. But I've got enough experience with it now. I feel like I can talk about it. And I really like it in some ways, and I dislike it in other ways. And so a lot of it is going to depend on your personality. But what I always recommend, if you're looking at these gig apps, if you're looking at Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and Amazon or Walmart Spark, I recommend you download all of them. Any that you're thinking about doing, you download them all. You sign up for all of them. You don't have to do it all at the same time, but you should try all of them out. Get a feel for them, because some people will love some and hate others, and then other people will be the exact opposite. So what I love
here's another reason why why I think everyone should register for Amazon Flex is because in some cities they are not accepting new drivers. So get registered while you can. I did it. I went through the intro thing. I did all the videos and classes and everything. So I'm actually eligible to drive for Flex, but Damon actually does it.
Yeah. Seems like I could do that, but I'm not.
I could.
So,
but I don't.
So one of the things I really like about Amazon Flex is it's very structured compared to like a Lyft or an Uber. And what I mean by that is when I sign up for a block, it puts offers up there and I can pick and choose what blocks that I may want or not. If I see a block that I like, a specific time I like, what Amazon does is they kind of segment those blocks out where they'll have a 2-hour block, a 3-hour, 4-hour, 4.5, 5 hours, in that range there, where they're essentially estimating how long it's probably going to take for you to, come get the packages and deliver. Now, in my experience, they're usually pretty accurate, or I'm usually done sooner. I don't think I've ever had one where it took me longer than they estimated. So it's usually pretty much right on, or if you're fast, maybe you'll save about an hour. But the nice thing about those is they tell you right up front, okay, if you take at least in Phoenix, a 4.5-hour block is typically about $90. So they'll say you're going to get $90 if you take this block. So
and you can finish in 3.
Yeah, going into it about how long it's going to take, right? And how much money you're going to make. As opposed to Lyft or Uber, let's say I get Amazon and I say, okay, I'm going to make $90 and I'm going to be out there for 4.5 hours, maybe, right? Maybe 3.5, maybe 4. Well, with Lyft or Uber, I've had days where you go out and it's just dead. And you could be out there for 4 or 5 hours and make $50, right? But you also have days with Lyft or Uber where you can go out there for the same 4.5 hours and make $150, right? So you've got that game of chance essentially with like Lyft and Uber, whereas Amazon, this is exactly what you're making. And as long as you show up and you drop your packages off, you're going to make this money, right? So there's no ambiguity there. You know exactly what you're going to make. And for a lot of people, they would much rather have that rather than the chance of only making 40 or having the stress of having to get rides or anything like that. You just go, you do your job, you get paid. Okay, so that's one of the things I like.
And you don't have to deal with people in your car. And also, Amazon does something that I find incredibly fair that you experienced on your very first Amazon delivery, right? You showed up, but they didn't need you. But they paid you for the shift anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happens and this will be in my in-depth review, but when you go to the warehouse and check in, sometimes they can potentially overbook or they don't have enough packages for the amount of drivers that and they probably overbook 1 or 2 drivers just in case a driver doesn't show up. Imagine that a gig worker is not reliable sometimes.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine that.
So when you think about it, they have to kind of overbook it because Amazon would be screwed if they've got 30 packages that need to go out and the driver doesn't show up, right? So they probably overbook it. I don't know what the formula is, but the very first time I did it, I showed up. Now I got there right at the end of when I was supposed to get there. I couldn't find the warehouse. This is my first time and it was like 4 a.m. Couldn't find the warehouse. Then the warehouse is so damn big, I couldn't find where I was supposed to go. I eventually got there and I'm hustling. And then I didn't know where to go to check in or how to do it. I was very confused. Got there nick of time, checked in, and it basically said, just wait for your shift. We'll let you know. Right. And you wait a half an hour. And if you don't get assigned a route in a half an hour, they say, you're free to go. Don't worry. We'll still pay you. So I think it was a $70 route. So the very first night.
And they paid you.
Yeah. I got $70 to drive down to the Amazon warehouse, kind of learn the process, which was, good. I'm learning, and check in, sit there in my car and say, you're free to go. And then I went and I drove Lyft for that morning. I was like, cool. I got my $70.
Well, I know this will be in your review too, but one of the things that really stood out to me doing the introductory classes and impresses me to this day is they actually say in the videos you have to go through for your training that if you want to bring your pet, you want to bring a friend, bring them along. They can keep you company. They can help you with packages or whatever, as opposed to almost every other app that says, no, nobody else in the car. It has to be only you.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Yeah. And I see actually a lot of couples like tag teaming too, husband and wives or, boyfriend, girlfriend or whatever. or even just like two ladies where they'll go out. Maybe you don't want to be out there early morning by yourself. You want a friend to go. I don't know how they work it out amongst themselves. Maybe they split the money, or maybe they're a couple, so they don't need to split the money. But maybe one drives and one runs packages or whatever. So, I see that a lot. But yeah, so Amazon is great for people that don't want a lot of extra headache, or maybe you get anxiety about, if I'm going to go out, I want to know how much money I'm going to make, or I want people in my car. I just want to go. It's almost like a job, right? You just go, you're going to get paid. You go do your job and you go home. And there is some flexibility there, because you get to pick the routes and you get to pick the times. One thing, I guess is kind of a negative, and I never thought about this till actually I was talking to a gig driver on an Uber Eats pickup last week. And we were chatting about what apps you like and da-da-da-da. And she said, well, I used to drive Amazon, but I don't like it. I'd rather do Uber Eats. And I was like, well, what didn't you like about Amazon? She goes, well, it was fine. But she goes, the problem with Amazon is you can't control your miles. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, she is technically correct, because with Uber or Lyft, you can accept or decline each individual ride based on how many miles away, and you decide if you want to go, that's too far or whatever. With Amazon, you know what your route's going to be. I mean, the time, the time block, and you know about how much time they're estimating, but you don't know how many packages, and you don't know where you're going to be delivering. You can assume you're probably going to be within, 30 or 40 miles, depending on how rural your area is of the warehouse. But I've had routes where, my route was 30 miles away, where you'd get these 30 packages and you drive 30 miles, and then you'd have a route like in those neighborhoods. And then I've had other routes where the route itself was really spread out, where maybe the first drop off was only 4 or 5 miles from the warehouse, but each package delivery was another mile here, 3 miles to the next one, 2 miles to the next one.
Right.
And so it started out real close to the warehouse, but it was still a lot of miles in between. Now, that being said, at least for the different warehouses that I've done, most of my routes have all been about a dollar per mile ratio. And meaning when I'm doing these longer $90 routes, $100 routes, I track the miles, obviously, because for write-off purposes. I'm usually doing around, 90, 100, 110 miles. So I haven't had a situation where Amazon has sent me on a 200-mile journey for $90. So while that could potentially be a concern, I don't know if it's going to be an issue.
In your detailed video that you're going to do, in that video, I really want you to tell the story about pulling up at the address and it was an empty field. and how you handle that. We'll do that in your video. So before we end this video, Amazon Flex details coming up. It's really interesting. I think everyone has potential for scoring on that one. But be sure to like, subscribe, thumbs up this video. Let Amazon know, but also let YouTube know that you liked the video and we did something good for you today. Also, we want to hear your feedback and comments. Post them down below about us starting a forum on Patreon, $5 or $10 a month, something nominal, where you can come in and post questions and get answers and create a community of hope and not hate, where people can all help each other. Good idea, bad idea.
But
let us know in the comments.
But can we hate Rody?
Rody has earned the right to be hated.
I shouldn't say I hate Rody. I dislike the way Rody does it. That's what we say. I dislike the way Rody distributes the jobs.
Yeah.
Poor Rody.
Poor Rody.
I really wanted to like it. I like Rody. I just don't like the way they don't give me jobs.
All right, Damon. I look forward to your in-depth Amazon Flex review coming up very soon.
And one last thing before I go before I peace. We on the Amazon Flex, it's a great extra app. So even if you're doing these other apps, I always encourage people to multi-app, because it's a block of time, so it's easy to fit in. You can say, I'm going to grab this 3 to 8 o'clock route, and then I'm going to go do Lyft, or then I'm going to go do Uber, and then I'm going to go do this. Or you can even, if you just want to focus on Amazon, you can stack blocks where you can conceivably have a day where you can get, if you get an early morning route, a midday route, and an evening route, you could get 3 routes. So it's feasible that you could make $250 to $300 a day doing Amazon. Now, granted, that would be probably, 10-hour shift. The 3 shifts probably be about 10 hours. But Amazon has enough volume, at least it does where I'm at. And if your warehouse has enough volume, you could conceivably just use Amazon as your main app. If you're cool with making $200 to $300 a day and you're okay with doing 2 to 3 routes a day, that might be the only thing you need to do. And then you can schedule everything out. You can get the routes multiple days in advance. And then you've got a very structured schedule and you know ahead of time how much money you're going to be making for that week. So for people that want to do it that way, that's a great way to go too, without messing with a lot of these other apps if you just want to focus on one thing. That was all.
Can I say goodbye now?
Peace.
All right, that was that was a nice ending addition there. Thank you.
Just one last quick thing.
Yeah, just one last
thing.
Just one last 5 minutes, actually.
Something in my brain here.